You're listening to Morning Edition on this Tuesday here on WCBU. I'm Rich Drager. The City of Peoria is considering a funding plan to help the Twin Towers Place condominiums pay for needed repairs and renovations. But Peoria City Manager Patrick Urich points out that no money has been allocated quite yet. Rather, the city may look to establish a special service area to generate those funds. Urich notes Peoria has used special service areas elsewhere in the city to assist with needed improvements or added services, such as around Junction City, the Louisville Slugger sports complex, and the Westlake and Grand Prairie shopping centers. He says the Twin Towers condos may not have streets to maintain, but they are a vertical neighborhood that merits similar consideration for financial assistance. In part two of our latest regular interview, Urich tells reporter Joe Deacon how the special services area process would work for funding the Twin Towers renovations, noting the buildings had a fire a number of years ago and had to exhaust all of their financial reserves.
We knew that they had some challenges from a cash flow standpoint. They also had some challenges from a financing standpoint because many of their lending institutions weren't comfortable with just loaning them money to be able to do that. So the special service area is a financing mechanism. It's a mechanism that allows us to levy an amount for them over a number of years in order to pay that back. The only area where the city is coming in is if we get to that point, and we're still exploring whether it's going to be a city bond or if it's going to be a bank loan, that we're leaning in with our credit rating to say, we're going to go borrow this money, but you're going to pay it back, and we're going to use your property taxes to pay that back. That is as solid as it can be. Property taxes generally get paid at about 98%, so they're generally paid at a really good level, and we feel that we would have adequate security with them if we had to issue a bond to go forward with this. So if we don't do a bond, if we do a private loan, all we are is the financing mechanism, and there's no city dollars involved. In fact, there would be, other than us issuing a bond from our credit standpoint, that's really the only exposure that the city has.
So because it's using the property taxes of the residents in the towers, the city would be reimbursed basically for
100%.
anything. Well, how much money are we looking at?
I think that when we added up all of their potential capital improvements, HVAC systems, the electrical systems, the fire suppression systems, and the elevators, it's about $2.5 million.
So what are the next steps in the process, and what's the timeline for when the council might take action?
The next steps in the process, we've set the public hearing, and then that also gives us time to send notice to all the affected property owners. Those affected property owners have the ability, if a majority of them decide that they don't want us to proceed with this, then that will stop the process, and we can't start that process back up for 2 years. So this gives them some time to hear about the proposal, and then we'll come back in June, I think, is when we're going to have the public hearing, and then it'll run for about 90 days. So any action on this wouldn't really occur until probably September.
Where do things stand with the Riverview Plaza Tower and bringing that building downtown up to code so it can be reopened?
Well, we did have the owner of Riverview Plaza has set aside about $500,000 into an escrow account to do work on life safety improvements in order to bring the building back up into a functioning capacity. They've done a little bit of work, but they still have a lot of work to do. So there isn't much more that I can add to that other than they're making some efforts to address some of the life safety code issues in order to get the building back online.
That is a big building downtown, though. From a city perspective, you'd like to see that back open and have more tenants involved. I mean, I know there's many aspects to downtown revitalization right now.
Absolutely, 100%. We'd love to see that building active.
That was Peoria City Manager Patrick Urich speaking with Joe Deacon for WCBU Reports. Find more of the conversation at WCBU.org. You're listening to Morning Edition here on WCBU, Peoria Public Radio, part of the NPR network.